this, I mean, the whole thing is coming, and they both sides of the family are there because of this exact act in their family's history. Another pivotal point. This is as pivotal as the point where on the road where Ruth said, "No, your God is my God." Now Boaz wakes up. He's startled. Something wakes her up. Turns to her and says, "Who are you?" "I'm your handmaid. I'm Ruth. Spread your blanket on me. Spread the corner of your cloak on me, and redeem me, for you're my kinsman." In some translations, actually, let's all take just a second. What is that? About 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine says, "Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid." Does anybody have eagle's wings, or spread your wings?
Yeah.
Spread your wings over your servant.
Okay. Now, it's the skirt. That's weird. I've tried all week to find out why the difference in translation. Spreading your skirt, the corner of your skirt or garment over was the tradition for like the betrothed couple in the ancient Middle East. That's how they would. It's kind of like an engagement ring. In public, he would put the corner of his cloak on her as an outward symbol, that they were betrothed. But the wing thing, spread your wings, that's what Boaz has said to Ruth earlier, and I should probably have written this down. But it said, "May you be blessed by the Lord, whose wings you came to take refuge under." So I'm not sure what the difficulty in translating this thing is, but there's 2 different translations. I pulled up a list of all the different Bibles, and it's split about 50-50. Some say wings, some say skirt. Anyhow, it's essentially what she's saying is, "You're my guardian redeemer. You have the right to be my guardian redeemer." This is a marriage proposal to Boaz from Ruth. Redeem me. And whether she meant it or Naomi meant it or what, the one way he could have redeemed her or married her is by consummating a relationship right then, and it could have been a done deal. But Boaz, making a righteous decision, said, "Okay, because I like the way you are. You're coming after me instead of going after a younger man, be it rich or poor. I will redeem you, but lay down, and I'll do it tomorrow. There's another man closer." He could have acted unrighteously, taken this into his own hands, and done it just the way his Judah and Tamar did it, just the way Lot and his daughter did it. The results could have been different, but instead, Boaz, acting like a true redeemer, acted righteously and said he would, but there's another redeemer closer, so he has to go deal with that. But put her back to bed, said, "Lay here at my feet until morning." So they acted righteously that night, and the next morning Ruth goes home. But she gets up before the light. He gives her another load of winnowed barley there to take back to Naomi, and he's going to go to town the next day to find out if the closer kinsman would redeem. Now, the kinsman redeemer comes from Deuteronomy 25:5, where God is telling them, you can't sell your land. You can't get rid of this because it's not yours. This land that He divided up in between the 12 tribes of Israel, that's not your land. You can't sell it. This is my land. So, that being said, if you do fall into hard times and you have to sell to somebody, but your kinsman, your nearest kinsman, can redeem that land back, and should. It's not just his right, it's his responsibility. And if you marry somebody, if a man marries a woman and he dies without giving her an heir, your brother should redeem you. And if your brother won't, then the next brother should redeem and raise up a child for the dead brother, so that his name doesn't die his name is carried on. And if two brothers deep don't do it, then the wife can go in front of the elders of the city, take off her sandal, spit in his face, and say, "You're one who wouldn't build your brother's house up." This is a big deal. The Jewish people are very big on the house of their family. Don't let your brother's name die. It's your right, but it's your responsibility to keep your brother's name alive. So Boaz is a kinsman redeemer, but there's one closer. So the right thing for him to do is to go tell him, that this is the situation. They need to be redeemed. You need to buy the land. But if you won't do it, I will. But he has to give him the right first. I know we're kind of skipping over questions here, but we're doing all right. Okay. Now we are in, where were we? Ruth proposed marriage, Boaz was cursed Ruth and not chase young man, Boaz cut. Okay, did Boaz cut in line of the nearest kinsman and redeem Naomi's property himself? True or false?
False.
False. All right. Everybody's somewhat listening. All right. 3:18. This spoke to what kind of man Boaz was again. Somebody read 3:18.
Then Naomi said to her, "Just be patient, my daughter, until we hear what happens. The man won't rest until he has settled things today."
Okay. That kind of the same thing that we were saying before about Boaz, and Naomi knew this about him. He's an honorable man. He's going to get the job done. We know this is on his plate. Just sit right here. He'll take care of this. It's just another affirmation that Boaz is a righteous man, instead of putting it off or not telling him, just going and killing a little time, coming back to Ruth and saying, "Yeah, he said I could redeem you." He went out, gathered up 10 elders of the city, and sat them down and said, "I want you to be witness to this. I'm giving him the right to redeem Ruth's name." I guess it would be Elimelech's name through Ruth. Boaz called who to be witness to the procedure between him and another kinsman?
10 of the elders.
10 of the elders. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Okay, now, I'm going to read this. 4, 5, and 6. It says, "And I thought to advertise," this is chapter 4, verse 4, "and I thought to advertise thee, saying, but before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people, if thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee." And he said, "I will redeem it." This is the nearer kinsman saying, he offered it to him, and he said, "Okay, I will redeem it." So then Boaz immediately came back and said, "What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, you must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance." Now, you don't just get the land. Well, I mean, you have to buy it, but you don't just get the land. You have to take Ruth too. And what comes with Ruth is you have to give her a son to keep her, not her, but her ex-husband's name alive, Mahlon's name alive. Well, that backed him off immediately. I can't do that because what if this is my only? Now he didn't say this. I'm inferring here that this is what's going on in his mind. What if this is my only son, and my inheritance dies, and Mahlon gets my inheritance? Because this is Mahlon's child. If he doesn't have another one, then Mahlon gets all. He's afraid his inheritance is going to diminish. So he had to back out of that one. That was another one of those pivotal moments in time. What if? I mean, I'm sure later on, when maybe he was alive when the lineage went down about 3 more generations and David became king. He probably wasn't, but his children may have been, and thought, man, what if Dad would have redeemed this young lady instead of doing it? We could have been in the line of the king. But he thought, I'll keep what I've got now. This is enough for me. Boaz, you're welcome to redeem. Well, Boaz did. And I think there's a lot of tugging on hearts from God. People can be righteous, but we're really flawed at best. I think God is inviting us into a relationship with Him. He wanted Boaz to desire to redeem Ruth. And He did. And back to the sandal thing I was telling you all about earlier, where the woman has the right to spit in his face, give him the sandal, said, you're no builder up of your brother's house. That's also how they, the handshake agreement there is, he took his sandal off, gave it to the other redeemer that didn't take the job, and in front of the 10 elders, and it was done. They're married, or they're fixing to get married, but he is the redeemer now. 4:11 and 12. Somebody read that. Somebody read 11.
Then the elders and all those at the gate said, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah, or whatever, and be famous in Bethlehem.
Okay, and 12 too.
Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah.
Okay. Well, that's what I was telling y'all earlier. The Perez from Tamar was an incestuous child there. That wasn't right of Judah to do that. That was Judah's son's. I can't think of his name, but that was his son's rightful place to redeem her. But he wouldn't give, because two of his sons had already been killed by the Lord in relation to Tamar, and he didn't want a third son to do it. And so she took matters in her own hand. But anyway, that's instead of having a bad connotation, Ruth instead is. It's like the love story of love stories in the Bible. It's a story of humble obedience and sacrifice and just redemption and Ruth Boaz's righteousness. This could have gone another way, but the righteousness of Boaz's decision making and the obedience of Ruth to what she felt. It's essentially the gospel. When she heard about the God of Israel, she obeyed that. I'll come back and your God will be my God. And that was rewarded with a son, with a redemption. The son was more of a reward for Naomi and everything, but Ruth, the Moabitess, a Gentile woman, was now brought into the Israelite line and in the greatest of the line, which, question 21 there is, who's the most important descendant of Boaz and Ruth?
Okay.
Jesus. Okay. Jesus. Right. Well, I mean, Obed, yeah, he's the first one, but the eventual implications of this relationship, of these righteous decisions, was Jesus, the other Redeemer that can bring Gentiles into a relationship with God. Another little point is Boaz is probably willing to do this whole thing with a Moabitess woman because he's the son of, does anybody know?
Do what? Who?
He's the son of
Abraham.
No, who is Boaz's mom?
Was it Rahab?
It was Rahab the harlot. She, the woman in Jericho. Yeah, check mark.
Did you know that or did you guess?
No, I knew that.
The woman in Jericho, when they sent the spies out, when they were about to come in and take over Jericho, Rahab the harlot hid the spies And she's, they talk about